Hi, I'm Andrew, an entrepreneur and a computer science student,
Hi, I'm Verene, a psychology major student.
and you're now listening to the Ink Thoughts podcast, where we ponder and talk about incongruous thoughts ranging from our daily life to the human mind.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ink Thoughts podcast. And today is the 28th of December, which is closing the end of 2021. And actually, originally, this episode is supposed to be recorded a lot earlier. Because I was originally planning for a trip to London, but because of the Omicron situation, I decided to just cancel it, not really postpone it. I was thinking that if only I could postpone it, that would be better. But yeah, so we did it today. But yes, before I tell everyone what's this episode about, so let's start by asking how's Verene's week or like a few days? Like how has it been? Because you're still on holiday, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, the holiday is not like really, you don't need to do like anything. As if there's something like urgent or something important, you still have to attend to it. So yeah. But overall, it's still a very relaxing one. So you don't have to actively.
Alright, that's cool.
Sorry?
No, I just said that's cool.
Yeah, you don't have to actively overthink about everything. So it gives you a bit of like break. Yeah. So so usually I won't have the chance to join any other yoga classes because of my work. But yesterday, I mean 1 day before, 2 days before yesterday, I decided to join one class yesterday morning. Yeah, it's the first class in the morning, and so I went for it, and yeah, it was a very nice workout morning. Yeah, and yeah, after that, at first, after the class, I really think that my flexibility is so bad. Yeah, but still, it feels good working out in the morning. Well, today,
Okay.
I just spent my whole day because I'm not in a very good condition, so I decided to not do anything and just relax myself, give myself some time. Yeah, but now I'm better. Yeah. How about your week?
I haven't been. Yeah, I mean, there's not much been going on because over the past weekend it's like Christmas and like Christmas here literally. It's everything is closed. Even the next day, which is Boxing Day. Even though I had anticipated there might be some sales and all that. I mean, there is, but then most of the shops are still open. So like only 50% are open, which I'm very surprised. Yeah. So I actually I didn't do much. I mean, I did spend my Christmas Eve and Boxing Day in the city, but yeah, other than that, I just spent it in my room or sometimes with some friends in our hall, and that is pretty much it. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I didn't do much. Yeah, actually, I didn't do much. Yeah, but yes. So yeah, today's episode is just a episode for the end of the year. Something that will probably do it annually, all the way into the future, because I think it's just a good episode to rewind what we have done in this particular year. And I quite like that this episode will be aired on 1st of January, which is New Year's Day. Quite cool. Literally the first day of 2022. We'll be listening to ourselves reviewing what we have done. So there's no particular theme topic. It's just Ink Thoughts 2021 review. So yes, Verene, is there any particular episode which is most memorable for you throughout? I mean, it's not 52 episodes because like we started like mid-year. The first episode was aired in May. The first episode is aired in May, and I think it was like recorded in April, something like that. So which is the most memorable one for you?
I would say the most memorable one is the one that we had with Michelle and Vaughn.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's quite a recent one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually I forget what's the name of the episode.
Oh, it's called How to Get to Know Girls the
Oh yeah,
Unweird
yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's like somewhere in August. Yeah, it's aired in August, and then it's like our longest episode ever. We clocked at 1 hour 47 minutes. It's like crazy,
Yeah.
man. We could have just made that into 2 episodes.
Yeah, and the reason that it is the most memorable one for me is that it feels very good. Like, I mean, the conversation itself is a very nice one, and then it's very fun to discuss that with Ron and Michelle together, because I guess usually we won't talk about this kind of things together with Ron, right? With Michelle, is still, yeah, we might do that, but with Ron, usually we don't. I mean, at least I won't.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a nice chit chatting time with a team, together with two of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I'm quite surprised though. I'm quite surprised we can go that far ahead. I mean, like, I would, what's that term again? Shit, I forgot. But basically, I have Michelle to thank for, because I have to say that it's definitely Michelle that built up the vibe, and then like she's the one. She is the best. The best talker, I'll say talker within the group, and then she shared a lot of her experiences, and then like, yeah, she just have a lot to share. That's why it made it a very, very, very fun episode.
Yeah.
But I think one reason is that because we have another 2 person, that's why we get talk so much. That's one reason. So maybe we should keep the maximum number of people on this podcast to be just 4, so that we can make sure that none of the podcasts will go over time.
Yeah,
I
true.
think that's something that we should keep to. But yeah, if I talk about my favorite episode, I have what would be my favorite episode? I am not entirely sure, actually. I am not entirely sure, but I would say that it's probably one of the recent episodes. Let me just check the name.
Oh, okay.
Double check the name. Yeah. I think it's more of the all about dreams and ambitions. Yeah, all about dreams and ambitions. Because I don't know. I quite like that episode. I really like that episode. Okay, there's now. Okay, I mean, I might just have a few favorite episodes. Not like the one that I like the most, but the few that is in my mind. So one of them is definitely all about dreams and ambition. I really like in the end where I shared about all the stuff I've dreamed about, like how I thought I imagined of having owning a country. I designed townships, restaurants, and all that. I really love that, and I mean, of course, it's sad when I think of how realistic I am right now when it comes to dreaming about stuff, but it's just good that I am able to remind myself how much of a child I am, how much, how creative I am back then. Unlike now, which I'm being so realistic, which everything I care about is so realistic, so materialistic, and all that. And yeah, like just I believe just listening to the episode will always bring me back to the younger me, where it reminds that life isn't all about money, material stuff and all that. Yeah, and then that's why I liked about that episode. And then the second one is something which, because yesterday I was supposed to be recording my YouTube video. In the end, I didn't, because I ended up chatting with my friends for a full 5 hours. Yeah, a full 5 hours. I mean, I wanted to stop in the middle, but then no, man. Like, they are just such important friends to me that I don't know. We don't talk that often. Maybe we chat like once a month. That's why. And then they are back in Malaysia. They're my best friends. So I really appreciated that moment. And then it made me realize that on the episode where we talked talked about whether is there anything that we would like to talk to our younger selves, like 5 to 10 years. How would you advise the decade-old self? But we talked about like how would you advise the 5 years and 10 years younger self, and in the end we pretty much have nothing that we want to talk to them. Like the stuff that we want to advise them is probably the stuff that we're still working on right now. So we just want them to start work on that stuff earlier, so maybe they can find a solution to that younger. That is the main thing. So it kind of made me realize that our life is generally we're generally quite satisfied with our life. Whenever we think of what we want right now, like at this moment in time, what we want in the future and all that, I don't know, like because mainly back to the conversation I had with my friends yesterday. She's talking about how underachieved she feels she is. She haven't been doing much compared to her peers, her friends, like who are getting married, getting a child, even like working, having money, all this kind of stuff. But then, of course, one thing, it's what most of the stuff we see on the surface is just the surface. We don't know how their life is actually is, and then they definitely have their own concerns. Like people have their own concerns, and then they don't share to everyone. Like my friend only shared to me, not like on Instagram or like put it as an ad on like Facebook telling like, oh, this is the fucking concern I have. But yeah, like no, people don't do that. So everyone is different on the surface and how they actually is. So there's a difference between the surface and their actual self. And I just tell her that, I mean, you just shouldn't compare because of that episode of podcast. I appreciate how we actually talked about how we how we actually thought back and then think of how we were back then and then compare it to ourselves, and you realize that you generally live quite a good life right now. There is nothing that you will regret. That's because like whatever you have done back then kind of defines who you are today. There is not much that you will regret. So you'll see that it's not so bad, isn't it? Like we constantly compare how we we constantly think that who we are not, or what we have yet to achieve, but we fail to realize what we have actually achieved, and then the progress, how far we have went. So that exercise actually made me realize that like we should stop comparing us to others and then just compare ourselves to how we were, who we were. And then you realize that you've done a lot. And so that is something that we should do more often, and that's why I remember. I mean, like in the end, I mean, it's hard for people to just like ignore that. I mean, it's true. Like, I would be lying if I say that today I'm not comparing myself to others, but I think it's just harder for that particular friend of mine. It's not easy to just like suddenly shift your idea away to shift your idea away to like compare yourself with others, to just like compare yourself with yourself back then. But I think she kind of sees the point that we are generally quite good where we are. There's no point in thinking that we are underachieved. We have achieved stuff. Something like that.
Okay, I think it is kind of like impossible to change the way you think suddenly, but maybe she can try out some little small practice to help her in terms of how she thinks about that every day. Then slowly, she won't like criticize herself that much.
Oh man, I just realized that All About Dreams and Ambition is a 1 hour and 40 minutes episode. Wow, okay. I didn't realize it's that long actually. Yeah. Interesting, okay.
I've forgotten that it's that long as well.
Right. I never thought it's that long. But like how have you felt like after doing all this so many episodes?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Give me a second. Let me just get a sip of drink.
Okay.
How do you feel after doing so many episodes of podcasts? I actually have no. Is there any? Okay. Now I kind of know. Let me just check. So, this episode that we're doing today to wrap up. To wrap up 2021. This episode is basically the. Oh shit! Where can I find that? It's the 33rd episode that we have done. But in fact, if we include the 4 episodes which we have recorded, this is our 37th episode. So yeah, after doing 37 episodes, how do you feel about doing podcasts?
Well,
And
to be honest, at the beginning, it's just like because you asked me to do. I mean, you invited me to do it together, and then I think it's kind of cool. Then I don't mind trying. Then we started.
Do you still think it's cool?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and then
I mean, like now, okay, we're just gonna reveal some numbers here. So now we have 458 plays. So 458 people have played our podcast, but some, just played for like minutes or even seconds, who knows. And on average, we have like 6 listeners every single week, which is actually okay. I personally, I have to acknowledge that that's very few, and I have to acknowledge that that's okay at the same time, because we just started out. We didn't really pay to advertise or anything, and then podcast is not really a thing for everyone. So but then it's still a cool thing, like being able to, it's like creating a talk show. Is like, imagine on the radio, just that radio is like a lot more popular, people are listening to it. So this one is just like 1 episode per week, and then people can just tune in and just maybe I don't know what we talk about, if what we talk about is actually inspire people to actually think deeply about what we talk about, or is it just random stuff that doesn't make sense. I wonder what do people think about that. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, so actually after like a few months doing podcasts like for every week, although the numbers is not like very high or what, but the thing is that I feel that it gives me a time weekly to think of something, like doing a mental, thinking exercise about a particular topic, and then we discuss it together. Yeah, which I find is very interesting.
Okay, cool. I mean, I really like the idea of podcasts, because I don't know, I guess I just I never found an output, because I generally like to think of, incongruous stuff, like stuff that people generally don't think about. Yeah, so sometimes I just discuss that with you, and then sometimes I discuss it with my friend, but sometimes I just forget about it. And then I find this podcast to be a really good output, where I can just like, just think about it, discuss about it, and then perhaps in the future find more people which are interested in it. So yeah, we can like ponder about it deeper, something like that. It's something that I never realized I really needed, because it's just a very good output. And yeah, many people have that fear of just how many people like you fear of letting people know what you actually think. But I think it's actually fine, because the thing is, you are not that popular, so not many people will know about you. And then let's say if you're afraid of someone listening it, like someone you dislike listening it, knowing more about you, but then I think it's fine. If that person truly dislikes you, he won't even bother to like care about your content. So he or she won't even check out this podcast. But in the end, I think, because like just like how we are supposed to show social, we're supposed to make new friends, to expand our social circle, to know more about things, to know more about the things that we don't know about. I think it's the same thing about podcasts. If you have something to talk about, instead of keeping it within you and within your friends, I think it's worth sharing it to the world, to let more people know about it. Yeah, because that's the purpose of discussion. Yeah, it's discussion isn't about finding people that agrees with you, but it's about finding more ideas or potentially even more people that will disagree with you, and then you start thinking. When people disagree with you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with them, but it gives you the chance to look at the different perspective. Yeah. You might still agree with yourself, but then you might see a different perspective, like how people think, and that is why people would disagree on your point. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's still your choice to agree with their option or with their idea or your own idea. So I think like this podcast is a really, really good thing, which I don't regret doing. And then like the process is just so streamlined that initially the toughest part would be the post-production. But then now the toughest part, not really the toughest part, but I'll say the most time-consuming part is just a recording part, because when we're recording, we need the time. We need the time to speak and all that. So that's the part where it takes the most time. Whereas like editing and everything just takes like minutes, and then I'm like done. Everything is like up on Anchor and everything, because like everything just became so smooth right now. So yeah, I think it's like it's so easy now.
Yeah. But just now when you say it, like in the past we do have like some discussion about some like random topics. But compared to podcasts, I think in the past when we discuss about certain topic, we tend to not come to maybe a conclusion or something, because we're just randomly talking. Like then sometimes we don't. In the end, we don't really know what's the outcome of the discussion. But for when we are recording for the podcast, usually we'll wrap up everything, right? So by that time, we kind of know what's the outcome of our discussion.
Yeah. I mean, it's some sort of you can say that it's sort of a time where we can just like put in the effort to focus on thinking this topic. Yeah. Unlike normally where it's just like a casual thing we just talk about and all that. Yeah, this is like more focus on that.
Sometimes it's just
now
not,
actually
not
looking
about...
Yeah, you just continue.
Okay, sometimes I think it's not just about thinking. We also like reflect and apply certain idea.
Yeah. I mean, true. Like looking at like our older episodes, I mean, they performed quite well. Like even the first one actually had 59 plays. Yeah, second is like 31. That's not that bad. I quite like it. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like doing all this thing. Sometimes one thing is about caring how many people actually listen. But I think another thing is that, like, since our purpose is just to get it out there, and it's not about being popular, I guess. And sometimes this kind of just take time. Of course, I still hope that our podcast can get like popular one day, something like that. But I think it's fine. It's a process, because as the best thing that we can have in this world is doing something that is fun while earning money. But at least now it's a fun thing, and maybe it just like many things on earth. You have to be committed for a period of time where there is no result at all before you can actually generate a result or like income. So yeah, it's quite cool. I mean, looking at all the stuff that we've talked about, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
True. I mean, imagine years later. Because like now it's just 2021. But yeah, today I realized one thing as well. Being 21 is still very, very young, because I mean like, okay, now I am kind of comparing myself to others. But yeah, even if I compare to others, I realize that being 21, I'm just very young. So I shouldn't expect the success of like a 27 years old, or like even a 30 years old. But I mean, I shouldn't do this, but just imagine like 10 years later when I have a child. I've been doing this for like 10 years with around 500 episodes, I think. Yeah, around 500 episodes. That would be a really cool thing. Yeah, a very cool thing where, I don't know, I can just randomly, I would love to, just tap into the first episode. Yeah. I would just tap into the first episode and see what were we talking about. Like, yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, man, it's actually one of the coolest thing ever, I would say. Looking at like, sometimes just looking at the progress, you realize that, wow, damn, we've been keeping this up for like half a year. It's very impressive. Like, if we don't even need to look at whatever we're talking about, just keeping up talking for at least 40 minutes every single episode has been amazing. Because like, yeah, like, who can do that every single week for like half a year? That is very cool. Constantly. Yeah, like, damn.
Yeah, that day when I was out for a Christmas gathering with my friends, one of them actually mentioned this to me.
Listen,
I don't think this friend has been listening this much, but he say that it's good that we are doing this consistently, like so consistent. We do it. We release one episode every single week.
Okay, I feel bad for having this mentor which I ever compared to, so I always compare myself to Ali Abdaal. Yeah, we're better than Ali Abdaal. He hasn't been consistent, like, not just in the beginning, like even now he hasn't been consistent with the not overthinking podcast. I mean, he's consistent with his deep dive podcast, which is a new podcast we've created, because I know that's like part of a business thing. But I'm not overthinking podcast. No, he's not consistent with that, and then we have been so consistent ever since we started. Yeah,
maybe he doesn't care that much for not overthinking.
I mean, maybe it's not just him. Maybe him and his brother as well, because both of them are busy. Because one is a founder of a company, another is a very popular YouTuber right now. So yeah, like yeah. But I don't know. I think, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't know, man. But I think I would still keep that up. Yeah, because I think I like how this podcast works as more of a lifestyle-ish thing. Yeah, so I would like to have more some lifestyle consistency. Maybe this is like kind of like taking life more seriously. I don't know, like, because like this part of like recording live as well. Imagine you check back, look back, like even a year later. I don't know. I think a year later, maybe like, actually we had this idea maybe around March. I'm not sure, March or April, but or even February. I have no idea when did we had this idea. When did I propose this idea to you? And then I had a serious talk with you on we should actually start this thing, because you never you're not showing that you want to start this thing. And then I was just like, yeah, if we really want to start this thing, we're gonna be serious and all that. We had a serious talk about it, and then I think we recorded our first episode on April. Yeah, but then the first episode is deleted. Is it deleted? I think it's deleted. I don't think there's an option to hide.
Yeah, I think we deleted
it's deleted. Only that's actually episode 0, but then we still have it. We still have it on our blog, which is like hidden. Yeah, it's actually hidden on our blog. So yeah, like that's our first thing. I don't know, maybe somewhere April and all that, we should just have a rewind and that, like, and just look back, like what do we think 1 year later? Maybe we should listen back to our first episode and then just like, see how it is. Yeah, because I don't know, it's quite an achievement, man. Yeah, I hate that I still can't remind myself that the number isn't that impressive, but then I mean, I should acknowledge that the number is very impressive already. Like, actually I don't know who's the few people that constantly listen to us. Like,
Yeah,
that's like four.
I think I can assume one is my friend, but the others I really have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I'm very thankful that people are still listening. Yeah,
Yes.
thanks a lot for that. I would really know who are you all, because yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I say I don't care about numbers. Like, I hope that I have like a bunch of numbers on each of every single episode, but I'm fine now. I'm still very thankful that it's not zero for every single episode. So yeah, I'm very thankful for all these people who actually listen to it, and yeah, it keeps us going. And then another thing is that, yeah, being able to see that we have completed 36 episodes, and this episode is like 37. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, man. I don't know, it's amazing. And yeah, like, wow, the next episode that we'll be recording, which is the week after New Year's Day, would be our first episode for January. Like, damn, it's like so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really quite like our system. I know that our system isn't suited for like breaking events. Like, let's say if we were to suddenly think of talking about recent events, this method wouldn't work. But I think it's fine, like doing all this, doing this has allowed us to keep up with our progress for all this while. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I guess it's because our intention is not. I mean, we are not focusing on become a very popular podcast, and so missing out the breaking events it's a very okay thing for us.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can do it sometime, but not now. Like, this is I would say that this review episode is the only episode that we never follow our usual schedule, because we wanted it to be the last episode of 2021. So we, instead of pre-recording it, we actually pre-recorded the episodes after this episode, and then record this right before 2021, which is like a really, really, yeah, I don't know, a new thing for us. Yeah, but yeah, damn cool. Like, well, is there anything you would like to say about this podcast? I don't know, anything that you feel sentimental about this podcast you want to share about? Yeah.
Yes, there's one thing. We did once on Instagram Live, remember?
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, that's
let me
actually
check.
a very.
Would you allow your child calling you by your name? I think that's the episode.
Yeah.
There's only 6 played though, I don't know why. But I mean, like, some people got to see it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually a very different experience for me, because I'm a very shy person, and we have to do it live, which is a bit nervous for me at the beginning. But once we started, I actually kind of like ignore that we are doing it live. I'm just so into the discussion with you on that topic.
Yeah. I think that's why I feel a bit bad about doing podcasts, because sometimes we just care about whatever we're talking about, instead of focusing on whatever the audience may want. But I think it's fine. I don't know, unless I'm still waiting for feedback from the audience. Unless they say that we should do this less, I mean, people are just okay with it, because since this is kind of a lifestyle-ish podcast, so we should just focus on whatever we're talking about. Yeah, even if it's like arguing or whatever, I think it's fine. Yeah. It's a really cool thing.
Well, I kind of asked my friend who have been consistently listening to our podcast about what they think about it. They don't really give me a very how do I say this? They would just say something like, I think okay lah. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's fine. I mean, listening to Ali Abdal's podcast, I don't know, I just find it funny. I hope that I can capture the same vibe with this podcast, because I find they're quite funny, like they're just like brothers arguing about some of the stuff, not agreeing, or like sharing about some stuff in their life. So I'm hoping that I can create the same vibe here. I'm not sure, but it's fine. We just started for half a month, and then
Half a month?
yeah, like even I don't know, but no, half a year. But yeah, I have to remind you though, like we're actually paying to create this podcast. Do you still remember how much are we paying every year? Do you remember how much you paid me? That's like
No, I forget.
okay, I think it's fine. I mean, like we pay that once a year, so like it's like around maybe April. I don't know. Probably maybe April where we need to start paying again. Yeah. I mean, we paid for the website. Oh, we paid for both of our mics, but then like this mic thing is a long-term thing. Unless we got popular, we need to upgrade it. I don't think that's so soon. I'll put like a simple trajectory is maybe like it takes at least 2 years, And our website is like around 400 something ringgit, and then like our Google Drive, which I realized we might not even, I don't know, we're using it so slowly now. Oh, are you doing backups are you doing backups for your images onto Google Photos? You should just do that, because just let it take up the Google Drive space, because like now we have 200 GB, just like, just use it up. Yeah, since we paid for it, we paid for this. How much was it? I was like 100. Oh, this is quite cheap. 200 GB is just like 100 something ringgit per year. I'm like, okay, it's not that expensive. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, like, so I don't know. It's quite cool. I mean, I remember it being okay, interesting. Yeah, you actually start using it. You have used like 1.72 GB, whereas I've used none of it. I don't know why. But yeah, like I remember the moment when I'm registering for the Google One thing. So basically the Google Drive storage. I don't know. There's a certain kind of excitement, because I felt like our business is growing, even though it's like no, it's like it felt like our podcast is growing, because like all our audio files it's already exceeding the 15 GB that Google Drive gives us. So we decided like just like expand it, and we went with the 200 GB option. So it feels quite happy, like, oh man, like we are growing, we're growing, like, even though I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, self-defined, yes, we are growing. Statistically, we are not growing, because like I don't know. I think we're even shrinking. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's see. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like wait, this review episode just feel a bit weird. It's just like literally us talking about what we think about our podcast. But I think it's fine. Yeah. Anything you wanna talk about?
Can't really think of anything.
I really wish we can hit like 500 plays before the end of the year, but I think that's quite unrealistic, because we need like 42 plays in the next 3 days. Yeah, which is like pretty impossible.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impossible.
But it's fine. I mean, like 400 something is already cool enough. Like it basically means that and it's not we didn't even do it for the whole year, so like it basically means that if it's like over a whole year period, there's more than one person that listened to at least one of our podcasts per day, something like that, which is like quite cool. Yeah, like, there's at least one person who cared about our podcast once per day. Yeah, something like that. Like, can kind of think of it that way, which is quite a cool thing. Yeah,
but I really wonder how does the other people find our podcast? Like, is it something nice to listen, or is it helpful or anything? But yeah, no one tells us anything before, so.
Yeah, I mean, Spotify does recommend us. I mean, it's quite fun. It's quite happy to see that, there's actually people listening in Germany, and then he's not just been listening once. I think at least 10 times. and there's like at least 10 plays from UK as well. I'm pretty sure the person from Germany is like one listener because it's always from this one single region, so it's very interesting. Yeah, and then Singapore as well. People in Singapore, there's 3 listeners in Singapore. And yeah, Malaysia definitely. Like United States, there's like so many people listening in United States, which is cool. I just say it's cool. Yeah, it's quite cool to see that. Yeah, like I don't know, like okay, ignore the numbers. Sometimes looking at this, you just feel like, oh, it's quite cool, you know.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. Yeah, that's a few things I find it quite cool.
Yeah, but
let's see
if you
where
don't
can it go
mind,
further.
then let us know. What do you think about our
Yes,
podcast? And
we keep talking about this, but yeah, I really hope people like I don't know, because now we're just doing whatever we think a podcast works. I don't know, normal conversation, something like that, but it'll be better if like people would just like come and tell us, you know, spend some time emailing us, messages on Instagram, something like telling us that, you know, really like your podcast, but it would be better if you can say something like that. And I would really love, you know, like Ali Abdal and the not overthinking podcast. What they do is that every single episode at the end they actually read out a nice review, something like that. Yeah, that's something that we can we are yet to do, because one thing is our listener are primarily from what's that? Primarily from Spotify, which doesn't have that review thing, but they say it's coming soon, which is a cool thing. So now there's only the Apple Podcast, which people can rate and stuff. So there's only 3 rating with 1 review there. Yeah. So that's the only thing here. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about?
I think no for now. I can't think of anything at the moment.
I feel sorry for the audience, because I think that this review episode, like, I mean, most of our episode we just don't plan much. We just like go with the flow ish.
Yeah.
Do you plan much?
No.
Yeah. So
I mean, I
tried
tried planning before, but it doesn't work at all. So
it doesn't work out because like sometimes you
end,
just it's just a topic where it forces you to think. So if you think beforehand, it kind of defeats the purpose. It kind of defeats the purpose. Like, it's the conversation that leads to more thinking, and then the thinking that leads to the conversation. It's like a feedback loop ish. So we can't really do much. And then like this review, yeah, I'm sorry, it might be a bit disorganized. I hope people will like it. But yeah, I want to thank actually first I would like to thank Ali Abdal and Timo Abdal for Not Overthinking Podcast. It's because that is the single podcast which I mean, it's the second podcast that I ever listened to, but it's the first podcast that pushed me into creating a podcast. Yeah, it's the one podcast that inspired me on making a podcast. That's why there's Ink Thoughts Podcast today. And yeah, thanks to every like the 3 guests that's been on our podcast. I'm sorry, we are not able to have more guests right now. Let's see. I think in 2022 we should work on this thing. And then yeah, thanks for all the people that have been listening to us, because without you guys, yeah, this podcast won't I don't know, it won't exist. Yeah. I think it would just like demotivate us to hell, and then we will stop doing this, like, because like of all of you guys, like even just 1 or 2 listeners, like yeah, it's these, like, you are actually, I don't know, like compared to like in huge channels and all that, oh my god, compared to like huge channels where, how should I say this, like I'll say that like these few listeners have a lot more impact than like the few like how do I say that?
I wonder what you want to say.
Okay, I would say like this handful of audience, because like there are so few, are so impactful when compared to like being in like a video with millions of views or a podcast with like 100,000 of listens, because these like at that point in time, I believe those creators would just ignore like this handful of viewers, but over here I truly recognize these few listeners, because you guys are always here with us, and then you guys listen, and then I'm grateful that you guys actually spend the time just listening to us. So I am truly grateful. Like, you guys impacted us into keeping it running, and then you are the people that I feel happy every single week when I see the numbers are up. Like, no matter who you guys are, whenever I see that numbers, you make me 100 times more happier. Yeah. Unlike like in a video with like million of views, those people probably need like another 100,000 of viewers to make them feel happier. But with just this few viewers, it actually makes my day a lot better. Yeah.
True.
Something like that. I hope you guys understand that. Yeah, it might be a bit confusing, but I know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So anything else, Verene, that you want to add onto this?
Not really, but just to express my I also like to thank them for supporting us all this while. Yeah. I don't know how they what they think about our podcast, but maybe they're just purely supporting us or something. Yeah. Thank you for that. It really gives us it really motivates us to continue working on this.
All right, okay. So I guess then we will just end this episode here then. So thanks everyone for listening, and I know that by the time you're listening this, you have just it's the new year. It's 2022. I know it's never been easy for most people over this past 2 years because of COVID and everything. Many lives have been impacted, but I believe usually how do I say this? Things like this is opportunity in disguise, and I see a lot of people have used this as an opportunity as well. I mean, it's same for me. I mean, without this pandemic, we wouldn't have started this podcast. I wouldn't have started YouTube as well. I mean, it's still taking time for me to see what's the result that it may form. But I mean, I hope that no matter how hard this 2 year have been, I hope that the upcoming year will be a beautiful one, or better for everyone. It's just that try to make it a better year for you, no matter how it turns out. So Happy New Year, everyone, and hope to see you guys in the next Ink Thoughts episode. So, bye-bye.
Happy New Year and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed, do share with your friends and family and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast. If you are not using an Apple device, you can leave a review on the Apple Podcast website with a link in the show notes. If you have any feedback or thoughts which you hope that we'll discuss in the future, feel free to email them to us at hello@inkthoughts.com, or alternatively, you can send us a private message on our Facebook, Instagram or Twitter with the username of inkthoughtspod. Thanks again, and see you all next week. Bye-bye.